I really feel like in this situation, it's very much like the action movie where the bad guy comes to the good guy and he's got some blackmail to hold over his head, and the good guy says, well, how do I know you won't use it? And the bad guy goes, you don't. Right? That's the anti-racist movement.
Yeah.
They figure.
You can't even think of a film reference? At least Tim Pool has film references, okay? I mean, come on. Hey, I got one for you. What about the ending of 7? Where he's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? Come on, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? It's racism. We've been watching a little too much Dave Rubin lately. I think we're having too much of a good thing, but he's just on a tour right now of sorts. It's not the burn this book tour. It's the high level ideas tour. So there's that, and now there's a brand new Ben Shapiro / Dave Rubin. Now we're only going to watch the little teeny mini ones, but I'm quite curious to see what's going down in these new high level idea videos.
I mean, it really does feel as though any common bonds that we once shared are basically disintegrating, and that you're being pressured into mimicking the belief that all those bonds are gone. So even if you believe that the bonds aren't really frayed and that really we should have some stuff in common, if you say that out loud, you're part of the system. You're part of the white supremacist system. And it's such dangerous stuff. I mean, as we're sitting here, in the last few hours, there was a sort of graphic that came out from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which is a Smithsonian Institute, taxpayer-funded institution.
Funded by the government.
Funded by the government. And it was all about whiteness and the evils of whiteness. And among the evils of whiteness, things that we have all integrated into our lives because of the prevailing system of white supremacy, were things like hard work, individualism, justice, time management, delayed gratification, science. I'm not kidding. This is all in the document.
I can tell you one thing. Ain't no one on this side delaying gratification. We get full release.
These are all things that are listed as elements of white supremacy that must be rejected in order to move forward into a better, more progressive world.
I'm Dave Rubin, and this is the Rubin Report. Quick reminder, everybody, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that notification bell, especially on a day like today when I have a guest so dangerous that we're going to get in a lot of trouble. You understand? The man.
I love that he thinks he's so edgy and that like these ideas are so dangerous and that everyone's like, oh, whoa, you can't say that. They all feel like that right now, eh? It's just like, hey, no, we're saying the bad things, right? We're saying come on, we're at the forefront. This is punk rock. Yeah, that's right.
It is Ben Shapiro, author of the new book, How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps. Here we go again, my friend.
I know. Just get ready for it. You get it worse than I do. I mean, honestly, I'm okay. My people will be fine. You're the one who pays the price.
Do I get it worse than you? I'm not sure. You have a very dedicated.
I already feel bad. Is that going to be about the gay cakes again? Is that what they're going to talk about?
Dedicated group of people at Media Matters who sit and wait for you to nod or to move in a way that they can imply is white supremacist. I have a bunch of anonymous anime genderless trolls on Twitter.
That's fair.
These are very different
that's fair.
things.
I have a full employment program going over at Media Matters. I know we have at least one, maybe two people who are on us basically full time at Daily Wire. So that's exciting. I mean, I'm glad that we can create jobs in all sectors of the economy.
We are creating jobs. I think the obvious way to start this interview, because I want to focus on your book, but of course we have to talk about some of the things. I don't know if you've heard there's a pandemic and then riots. Have you?
I missed all of this.
You haven't heard about it. I know
I've been out of it just a little bit. Yeah.
You're a busy guy. But I titled my book, Don't Burn This Book. And then basically the day the book came out, every store that had the book was on fire.
Right. Well, you didn't say don't burn the store, to be fair.
I didn't say don't burn the store that,
that houses.
It's so sad. Like, not only did no one burn his book, he had to burn it himself.
Now, your book is called How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps.
It was about how to burn your book. Yeah, that's the basic gist of it.
But of all times, America does seem like it's being destroyed right now, and that's what you titled the book. And I know a little something about writing. You finished this book when? How long ago?
December, January.
Okay, so actually not that long.
No, this is a quick write. So what happened is that I had gone to Israel for the Jewish holidays. I came back, And I just looked around the country and I thought something is really, really deeply wrong. I mean, even more wrong than it has been in prior iterations. And it's been wrong for a while. I mean, there have been things that have been going wrong, which is why I wrote the previous book, Right Side of History, which was the country's kind of falling apart. What do we do? What common values do we hold? And then I thought, well, we really need sort of a nation-specific book about what we're supposed to be sharing, because obviously there's this widespread perception that we share nothing, right? The only thing that we share is an oppressive, evil, terrible, bigoted system. And so I come back from Israel, I called up my publisher. I have a 2-book deal with my publisher, and my publisher, I actually had another book that was slated to come out probably the beginning of next year. And I said, I want to rush a book out before the election. I want it to be called How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps, and I'm going to write it in the next 6 weeks. And they were like,
do you write as fast as you talk?
I do. Thank God I write incredibly. That was actually little known Ben Shapiro facts. I used to, there are many of them, but one of the least well known is I was a ghostwriter for many prominent figures for probably a decade. And it's how I supplemented my income. So I have something like 7 or 8 New York Times bestsellers that are not under my own name. I was the quick write specialist. Publishers would come to me. There'd be some prominent figure who,
Oh man. Okay, so I would like to know who. I would like to know for whom, because there's 2 scenarios here. One, there's a whole bunch of other shitty ass books out there that we can now attribute towards Ben Shapiro, or he's just lying, because like I could say the same thing. Yeah, I was actually a ghostwriter for a whole bunch of very prominent authors. Yeah, so yeah, I've got like 20 bestsellers behind me. I can't reveal who that is, of course, because again, I was paid as a ghostwriter for many years. But it's out there. I mean, you have but to guess. You can take your guesses right now, Chad. Whatever books you think I wrote, it's probably true. It's probably true. Yep. It's yeah. Yeah, no, I wrote for Ayn Rand. Yeah, I definitely wrote for Ayn Rand. Yeah. No, The Fountainhead is mine. That one's mine, definitely.
3 weeks to go until deadline, and they'd be like, okay, well, you've got 1 sentence. What do we do? And so they turn me over the book, and I'd write an entire book in a month. So
can I get you to write a couple of their names on the back of that paper for me?
I'll tell you later. If not in violation of my NDAs, guys.
Yes.
But in any case, it was written at white heat, and it was very easy to write because the structure of the book is very obvious. I mean, the basic idea.
We don't go that far yet. I want to talk structure.
Well, we'll get to it in a second.
I wrote down all 6 chapters because I want to talk structure.
All right, sounds good.
I think the way you broke it down actually is super interesting. But before we do full book stuff, let's just talk about the world as it is at the moment for just a little.
Do you bleep on the show?
Oh, you can curse your brains out. But what do you mean? You don't curse.
I know, but I do. If you promise me you'll bleep it, then I'll curse.
Oh, yes.
He's gonna say it. He's gonna say the word. He's just going to drop a gamer word right now. Here it comes.
People will bleep it.
Yeah, we're sort of.
Yes, my people will bleep it.
Yeah, we're sort of.
That was the N-word, right?
Yeah, we're sort of.
Yeah. That was
I've
the
been
N-word.
waiting for that for
Confirmed.
a long time, Shapiro, because I've heard you say fuck off. My guys don't have to bleep my fuck; they can bleep your fuck.
Yeah,
I've heard
that's
you
right.
say fuck privately, and then you put your little.
Well, as you know, there is a
Twitter.
bit of a gap between public.
This is so weird. This is so strange. So Ben Shapiro just swore, and so that was like, but he's like, as part of my public image, I don't want that out there, so I'm going to need you to bleep it. And not that they do it on the show, because Dave Rubin just proved that he's fine saying the word fuck. So but we know what he said, and unless it's supposed to be a mystery, in which case, yes, it was the N-word.
Public persona, and in private I curse a illusory because so that's not a great shock, but yes.
Okay, so yeah, let's just do it for a little bit. Are we fucked? Like, what the hell is going on here right now?
It feels that way. I mean, it really does feel as though any common bonds that we once shared are basically disintegrating, and that you're being pressured into mimicking the belief that all those bonds are gone.
Oh, it was the F slur. Oh, you said the F slur. Oh yeah, well, I wouldn't put him past him. And I agree that is basically the irrational hypocrisy of America just put on full display there. Like, you can swear, I can't swear. Well, I will swear because I do swear, but I need you to bleep it out because it's part of my strangely cultivated public image.
In the last few hours, there was a sort of graphic that came out from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which is a Smithsonian Institute, taxpayer-funded institution.
Funded by the government.
Funded by the government. And it was all about whiteness and the evils of whiteness. And among the evils of whiteness, things that we have all integrated into our lives because of the prevailing system of white supremacy, were things like hard work, individualism, justice, time management, delayed gratification, science, I'm not kidding. This is all in the document. These are all things that are listed as elements of white supremacy that must be rejected in order to move forward into a better, more progressive world. And so all the things that you would think like, yeah, I feel like we should all have this in common, like, science. This one we should have in common. There's a whole movement to say, no, all of these things are outgrowths of an evil system. And that in turn is the result of an absolutely despicable redefinition of the term racism from what it used to mean for virtually all of human history, but certainly since the 1960s, to what it means now. So in the 1960s, racism was what we all think of racism as, believing in the inferiority or superiority of a particular racial group.
The term racism hasn't existed throughout human history. Just going to start there.
Right, very easy definition.
Easy
you can
enough.
spot it wherever you see it, right? I mean, it's not hard. It's a very easily applied definition. And then there's been an attempt in the last several years to redefine racism to mean any system that results in racial inequality is itself racist. And so if you are not seeking the destruction of that system, you are complicit in racism. And in order to be anti-racism, you have to seek to destroy that system. Well, every system in human history has resulted.
I like that this has become part of the discourse, by the way. Like, it's not as far yet as them actually tying any of this to capitalism and the power structures that are inherent to that, but they are getting to a point now where it's now just part of the public discourse. Like, now everyday people have these kind of conversations where, yeah, there seems to be some kind of upholding power structure, and it seems to be upholding the structure of white supremacy. So we can talk about this now. And he has to invent and do his mental gymnastics in order to justify why that's not true.
In inequality of some sort or another, because human beings have different capacities, we make different choices. If you literally
are you telling me we're not all exactly the same? We don't have all the exact same thoughts and gifts and skills? You're telling me...
Stop being racist. Stop it. So
we're slightly different.
Ibram Kendi specifically writes this, right? In How to Be an Anti-Racist, he says, literally, any system that generates racial inequality...
Man, just like weaponized dad jokes. Like two of the most unfunny people in the world,
is a racist system. And so therefore, it's not like you're a bad person because you're a racist. You're just a product of the system, or you're upholding the system. And in order for us to fight that racism, we have to fight the system itself. And so anything that is part of that system, anything and everything that is of that system, is tainted by racism and must be ripped down completely. And if you are complicit in the system by doing things like hard work and individualism, you're an assimilationist, right? This is what Ibram Kendi says in How to Be an Anti-Racist, and Robin DiAngelo sort of mirrors this. And you're saying to yourself, wait a second, are you closing an awful lot of doors to Black Americans and minority Americans? Like, the pathways to success in a free system are things like hard work, individual effort, thinking ahead.
I love that he tried to play this con job on Joe Rogan's podcast, and that was one of the few good Joe Rogan moments where Joe Rogan was actually like, yeah, but you gotta understand, dude, there's very different conditions for people who grow up Black in America and white in America. And like, you can't just say, pick yourself up from your bootstraps, stop committing crime, especially if you're born into poverty, abject poverty. There's something to be said about that. I wonder if Dave Rubin will be quite as eloquent. Let's see what his answer is to Ben Shapiro saying this.
The evil American system or anything.
Right. But also, what are you saying about Black people?
Right, you're saying it's insane. I mean, David Duke could write this shit.
Right.
I mean, he really could. I mean, David Duke could write the idea that whiteness is about hard work and individual initiative and religious adherence and family structure. Yeah. Right? That's crap David Duke would write.
Yeah.
But the anti-racists are writing the exact same crap, and then they're saying, yeah, but all those things are bad, right? And if we just got rid of our adherence to these systems, well, then we wouldn't really have to have standards that we hold people to, and then...
That's not what they're saying at all. I thought he read White Fragility, and I thought he was upset because it was like it's the lib manual. Come on, it's the libbiest book on racism there possibly could be. But still, I thought that was upsetting him. But yeah, that's not at all what it means.
Equality would be the result. I mean, that's insanely dangerous stuff. But because the charge of racism is the most highly charged charge you can make against somebody, it's the worst thing you can call somebody in America, and for good reason, because that is an awful thing to be, right? I mean, it's an awful thing to say about somebody. It's an awful thing to be. Because that is such a highly loaded term, it's so easy to cudgel people into line. All you have to do is just acquiesce. All you have to do is be the person who cheers on the guillotines as the guillotines chop off heads, and we'll leave you alone. Now, we're not going to say that you're left alone forever, right? That this only holds true until the time for the next guillotining. I really feel like in this situation, it's very much like the action movie where the bad guy comes to the good guy and he's got some blackmail to hold over his head, and the good guy says, "Well, how do I know you won't use it?" And the bad guy goes, "You don't." Right? That's the anti-racist movement.
Yeah.
They figure.
You can't even think of a film reference. At least Tim Pool has film references. Okay. I mean, come on. Hey, I got one for you. What about the ending of 7? Where he's like, "What's in the box? What's in the box? Come on, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?" It's racism. Racism's inside the box. It was always racism.
They can call you a racist, and they will hold that over your head until you acquiesce in all the things. And if you don't acquiesce in this one little thing, then you will be ruined, and you will be destroyed, and you will be targeted as part of the opposition.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about...
No, that was too much. Too much. I flew too close to the sun, and I regret it now. What do you got for me here? This chart, what he was talking about, it's not saying that we need to destroy aspects of white culture. Oh, yes, let's check it out. African American Museum site removes whiteness chart after criticism from Trump Jr. and conservative media. The National Museum of African American History and Culture removed a graphic that attempted to describe aspects and assumptions about white culture from its website Thursday after criticism from conservatives that it was racist. The graphics found in whiteness section of the Smithsonian's museum talk about race portal, describe 14 categories of white dominant culture or whiteness, including history, religion, family structure and justice, hard work, self-reliance, respect of authority, and the nuclear family. Father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. Were listed as attributes of white culture. The chart also includes phrases like win at all costs, woman's beauty is based on blonde skin, and Barbie, a heavy value on ownership of goods, space, and property, creamy mayonnaise-like features, the smell of the grease. Criticisms of this graphic took to this tweet on social media. Conservative author Ben Shapiro described the chart as crazy and evil and suggested it is all pathways to success. Hard work, stable family structures, individual decision makings represent complicity and white supremacy. Wow, that is a weird reading. This is just bizarre all around, to say the very least. President Trump's son, Donald Jr., tweeted that the graphic on Wednesday was tied to the presidential campaign, writing, "These aren't white values, they're American values that built the world's greatest civilization. They help you succeed here no matter what your color, so make no mistake, Biden's radicals aren't coming for whites, they're coming for the entire American way of life." I don't know if he would have said it quite like that, though. The whole idea behind the portal is how do we give tools to people to have these conversations that are vital to moving forward? This was one of those tools. We have found it's not working in the way we intended it, so we erred in including it. We were trying to talk about ideology, not about people. We are encouraging people to think about the world they live in and how they navigate it. It's important to talk about it and grow to be better. Interesting. Well, there you have it, everybody. It's just too many high-level ideas.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, I'm Raph, Stephen, Ninetails Cosmic Fox, and Hans Josephine, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byth, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chudskop, Sky Bear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, that's solid poon then, we salute you. And to all our merchants and farmers, you have our undying loyalty and love.